Okay, so throughout the evening we've been referring to the kochos of the individuals, the life skills, and the elective program. So we've heard tremendous divrei Torah and machshava, so I'm going to bring it down, just kind of practical now, in the day-to-day in the yeshiva. What I'm going to do is we're going to turn off some of the lights so you can see the screen a little bit, because I'm going to share the daily ma'arechet, which has been discussed briefly, and the fourth one. There you go. Okay, so this is the morning. Rav Simcha talked a little bit about it. I'm not going to go through it in detail, but this is the basic morning Seder Boker. It would be a typical Seder morning shir. This is not a 3-hour block of time, but to recognize the individuality of the kids, to have a half hour in Seder, half an hour shir, half an hour in the base medrash, bechavrusa, move it around with break time. We're not talking about 2-hour blocks of shir time or 2-hour blocks of learning time, but a broken up schedule in which the boys will have the opportunity to learn and to be dynamically involved in their learning. At the same time, we're very, very committed to chazara, which is not only mastery of the material, but the retention of their material. Unfortunately, it's very lacking in a lot of the yeshiva katanas today, where they don't spend enough time on regularly chazering the material in a consistent, formalized chazara basis. So this is going to be developed over the next several months before yeshiva, but incorporating a particular chazara schedule. Okay, now moving on into the afternoon, I want to talk about the what we're calling the life skills and the elective programs, which is here on the left. So in most yeshivas, between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's called Bein Hasdarim. Lunch is over, break time, kids are just chilling out, and then 4 o'clock or so they get back in the afternoon and they start. So we're going to have 2 programs, calling the Life Skills program and the elective program. The Life Skills program is something which we all recognize there are certain fundamental skills that people need to be human beings in life. Now we're going to get into a moment about the Bagriot, and Avi Silverman will be speaking about that. But what we recognize is fundamental needs in life. Kids have to have a basic grasp of reading, a basic grasp of writing, and putting a thought on a piece of paper. You can't write a Dvar Torah without it. You can't have any communication without it. So having life skills of reading, writing, cheshbon, which Avi will speak about the curriculum in a moment. We're not talking about Misrad HaChinuch cheshbon. We're talking about real life cheshbon, practical cheshbon, things that the kids need in order to simply survive in life. And then English also at a small basic level, that you have to have a certain basic understanding of English. So this is the life skills section. This is just preparing the boys for life. Part of life skills is public speaking skills, confidence skills. Simcha talked about standing up in front and giving a 5-minute halacha shir, and then giving a 15-minute chabura. There isn't a man in this room that hasn't had to stand up in front of an audience and speak and give a Dvar Torah. And people say statistically, people fear public speaking only second to death. So it's a very important life skill to have public speaking, confidence, and the ability to stand up and give a Dvar Torah. Okay, now we're going to talk about the electives. So the electives in Shari Arazim, he has 30 electives from boat building to marching bands. It's not shaykh in Eretz Yisrael. But what is shaykh over here are some fundamental activities that the kids can get a geschmack, find their way, find their skill set, and that we have the a safe, confident environment that they can develop it. They're in development, but ideas would be music, guitar, woodworking skills. In Shari Arazim, every single kid builds their own desk. We can hear from some of the alumni. First day of school, you have no desk. And for the next 3 weeks, they build their desk. We plan on doing something similar, maybe building stenders, that the kids are all going to have an opportunity for that. Physical activity, whether it's acrobatics or gymnastics, they have in the Merkaz Chogim, karate in a secure environment, things that the boys are going to be able to explore. The sky's the limit. Money is the restriction. Starting out with 1 year, 10, 12, 15 boys of Mir Hashem, there's only so much we can accomplish, and that will be developing as the families come in, and the boys and the families can sit with us, tell us what they want. 5 kids want drums, we'll do drums. If 5 kids want keyboard, we'll do keyboard. If nobody wants the wood, we'll chuck it. So these are types of things that we're looking to be developing. It's only going towards developing the confidence and the geschmack of the boys. It's in the afternoon Seder. They're going to finish the afternoon Seder, get back into afternoon from the 4 to 6 o'clock slot. Classic Yeshiva Katana, Halacha, Tanakh, Machshava, Gemara B'kiyos, dinner break, and then they continue on. Seder Erev is this evening period where we're going to have the opportunity to explore a wide range of what we're going to call Klei Kodesh, the Dvarim should be Kedusha. If it's Pesach, if it's Nisan, we'll be learning Hilchos Matzah and go to a matzah factory. We mentioned Erevin, go do the Erev. We learned in Shari Rozim, they built 40 sukkahs. The boys went out as a volunteer throughout Muncie. They learned Hilchos Sukkah and built the sukkahs on a volunteer basis as a chesed for the community. Baruch Hashem, there's an infinite number of Torah topics that are life skills, maybe. Kricha, if a kid has a good, he loves the drill, so I'll teach him how to do binding and can make it a side parnasa for, binding the books. You see ads in all the yeshivas for book binding. V'chuli v'chuli, there's many, many opportunities in the evening seder. And then from 8 to 9, afterwards, it's physical activity, more electives, maybe continuing what we began. My personal pet peeve is astronomy. I love astronomy. There's so much to know in Divrei Chazal about the Birchas Chodesh and Masechet Rosh Hashanah about the Mazolos. So I have a nice, powerful telescope. We like to go out with my son into the mountains and we stargaze. So Mirz Hashem, we could build that in. And then Thursday night Mishmars, we have ideas of doing kumsitzes, bonfires in the hills. Baruch Hashem, we're very close to nature over here, and we want to be able to tap into that. Kedushas Eretz Yisrael. We're also blessed with having vineyards and farms, and we're learning about all the Hilchos Zroyim and Peah and Leket. We go out and talk to the farmers about Kilayim, and et cetera, et cetera. It's not textbook, but it comes to life, and we have many plans to get the boys and to go out there. Okay, I'm going to turn over to Avi Silverman. Actually, I'm going to his bio, because there's Baruch Hashem, he has a long bio. So there's a fundamental question which has been presented to us, which is, in Hebrew, there's a phrase when you've built a house, you say, im kvar, az kvar. Once you're ready putting in the faucet, you might as well get the best faucet. Once you're putting in the tile, once you just get the best tile. And it's true, you just keep upgrading. So the question is, if we're already doing life skills, you're already teaching math and English, im kvar, why don't you do bagriot? You're ready, just throw in bagriot, add another hour, and you could be like another yeshiva tichon. So, except for the basic answer, because we're yeshiva katana, and in Eretz Yisrael, the Gedolim don't approve of providing bagriot, I think there's actually a more significant reason in this particular yeshiva. Because the focus is building the boys and giving them the confidence to succeed and giving them the skills and the courses and the information that they need to be matzliach. As Mr. Silverman will explain, the fact that the Misrad HaChinuch has said, let's learn Historia or Safrut or Ezrachut, that has no bearing on the success of the child, that's no bearing on his potential of life skill development, that has no bearing on his ability of getting a parnasa in the future. So to take time out of our day of Limud HaKodesh and our entire matara, the purpose of building these boys, it's counterproductive. It actually goes in the exact opposite direction of what we're trying to accomplish, and as we'll hear right now, it's actually completely unnecessary. So that the whole focus and the development and the thought processes of building the yeshiva has been very laser focused on the things the kids need in the day, how to make best effective use of that time in order to get the kids to the end point that we need, which is to building confident, motivated, and successful Ovdei Hashem. So Avi Silverman, who's been hired from the yeshiva as a curriculum consultant. Avi himself has over a dozen years working in Eretz Yisrael. He's worked in both formal and informal educational institutions in America as a principal. He's right now, for the last 10 years, working for Nefesh B'Nefesh. Probably most of this room has made Aliyah. Many of you probably know Avi. But his primary role is really working as the educational liaison between the families and the parents and the Misrad HaChinuch. And Avi knows the insides and the outsides and what's critical for education nowadays and what's not critical in education nowadays. And we commissioned Avi and we said, Avi, we'd like you to tell us and show us, because even us as parents need to understand that, what are the real opportunities for the Haredi world, for the Yeshiva Katana and the Yeshiva Gedola world as the kids go out, if they're not getting a traditional Bagrut. We've heard about these programs, are they real, what's the dropout rate? So Avi's done an exhaustive project, which he's going to present now, and give him 15 minutes. I'm just going to point out that we're not going to tackle the army, because that is a huge discussion that's not really relevant to this conversation. That's the Yeshiva Gedola problem in the next 5 years. So right now we're talking on education and the opportunities that are available for yeshiva boys post-yeshiva.